talked about after last season how a trip to the World Series can, make them hungrier, or
Mm-hmm.
you might have to pay attention to your work ethic and culture in a different way. Just what have you seen this offseason that impact had on your team?
I think they got a taste of it and they want more. And we have so many players coming back from last year, and they know what that felt like. They know what it took. And I think they've done a good job of thinking about last year and taking the things that need to be consistent this year as well. Just going back to our mission and our core values and making sure we live those out every day, but also realizing what we did last year isn't a guarantee for this year, and it doesn't mean anything. We got to get back to work, and we've got new players that joined us, and we've got to figure out a way to be great this year.
How is having a player like Kiki back stabilize this team and help get you back to where you want to go?
Kiki's a generational player. I've never coached a player like her, and I probably never will again. Just a very special young lady in terms of, her talent, her work ethic. She's the hardest worker on the team. Her leadership, the way she holds herself accountable and holds everybody else accountable. She's really remarkable, and she's inspiring to watch, and she's inspiring for her teammates. Everything with Kiki's a competition, so there's no slowing down, and I think that's what really has a major impact on our team.
With Ashley graduating, how do you think the pitching staff's going to hold this year, especially early on in the season where you might have to play 5 or 6 games in a week?
Yeah, it's going to be different for us. I think when you look back at last year, I think there were only 2 staffs in the country that could throw a pitcher out there, a different pitcher Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and get complete games out of them. And it was us in Oklahoma, and that was even with Ashley injured and us having to manage her innings. So I think we're going to be kind of like everybody else, that you've got to figure out how to match people up and how to, get 6-9 outs out of people and then have somebody else close out the game, and figure out who's going to counter the other pitcher well in order to throw people off. So there'll be more strategy to it, I think, in that respect, but that's fun too.
Speaking of pitching, how do you feel like Carlin has continued to progress? Last year she had some really great flashes to show, what kind of pitcher she could be, but how do you feel like off season going into now, she's kind of taken strides?
Carlin is a really smart young lady, and she's really self-aware, and I think that's a key because the game at this level, it's not just physical, it's what your mental game as well. And I think everything in her life she's been so dominant at, no matter what sport she played. And last year was the first time it's like, okay, wait a sec, now I can't just rely on my physical gifts. There's other things I have to tap into. But the fun thing about Carlin is she's really open to that, and she's willing to try things, not run away from any struggles. She wants to attack them head on. So I'm really pleased with her progress.
I know if you could have gotten a pitcher that was the right fit for you guys, you were looking at that. You didn't end up bringing anyone in. Just how confident are you in this staff, kind of be able to replace what Ashley gave you last year?
Yeah, I think you're always trying to just increase your numbers. And of course, if you can get somebody who's won at the highest level, you're going to add them to your staff because, the more you have, the better, just in case of injuries and everything else. Didn't work out, but again, it didn't work out for a lot of other people too. And I feel really good about the pitchers we have. I felt like last year the 3 that didn't get the ball a whole lot could have done some really good things, but there just weren't enough innings to go around with the way Ashley and Peyton and Carlin were all dealing.
The catcher, how is Sophia gelling with the team, and where does that put Julia in the lineup?
Yeah, she's fit right in. She's got just a really chill personality, and it's been a pretty seamless transition. We were just talking in our huddle here as we wrapped up practice that, each day we say who inspired you, and a lot of days Sophia just nails that throw down to second. And we're kind of starting to take it for granted that it's going to be there, but that's just a really cool thing to have, is somebody like her who can command the position as well as she does. The pitchers enjoy throwing to her, and I think it just takes pressure off G, because now when G goes back to catch, she's really fresh mentally and physically, and I think she's enjoying catching a whole lot more. And G's so gifted. She plays a heck of a first base, and she's a heck of an outfielder. So there's a lot of options for her.
With Mackenzie's medical retirement, you do have Bella coming in to short. How do you think she's been fitting in, and how do you think she's going to do this year?
Bella, I said it before, may end up being the best defensive shortstop we've ever had at Tennessee, and that's saying a lot with some of the shortstops we've had here. That's why we recruited her. Bella is really, really good on the defensive side of things, and I'm really pleased with her offense too. So I think we're going to be fine there. Donahue would have slid over to second, and right now we've got Boo Gibson there, and she's another one. Like, came in as a corner player, but she's worked her tail off on her agility and her footwork to put herself in a position that allows me to move her over to the middle.
You guys have the highest preseason rankings in a decade. I know rankings are rankings, but after a trip to the World Series last year, how do you feel like maybe the standard has been kind of raised a little bit, or how do you help the team kind of handle that, hey, the same expectation this season?
Yeah, I think the expectation has always been here. Even 2 years ago when we lost in regionals here, I mean, the heartache was because of the expectation that they have. Rankings are something that, we're not going to ignore them because they're there. So we talk about them, we give them the credit they deserve, which isn't a whole lot, and then we move on. And we realize that it doesn't matter where we are right now. All that's going to matter is, how are we playing in May when the postseason comes around.
How hard was it to say goodbye to Mackenzie Don, who medically retired?
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, really heartbreaking for her, because she so enjoyed her time here last year. And I know how much it meant to her to, come here and just kind of, it was a breath of fresh air for her, and she played like it. And, so the first heartbreak is for her, and then the second heartbreak, of course, is how that affects our team. But, we're a pretty deep team this year, and we have a lot of versatility, and we needed it really soon. I was hoping we wouldn't need it till sometime in the season, but, we needed it right away here in January. But I think the other girls have stepped up.
Taylor coming back from injury, how has she been coming back, and what do you think her role is going to look like this year?
She's been doing great. The fall was a little slow for her just to kind of get back to the strength she needed, but January's been awesome. We're starting to see the Taylor that we saw fall of her freshman year, started off the season like gangbusters, and she swings the bat. And so that's my job, is to figure out where to get her on the field, because we're going to need her bat in the lineup.
Zeta, off-season surgery, how has her recovery been? Do you expect her to be ready for the start of the season?
She had a little hiccup here in the last 2 weeks, and we had to kind of slow down a little bit. But today she started back. Things went good. Hopefully tomorrow will go well too. If we can get her going, kind of every day here, not pushing it too much, but just a little bit, I think we might have her for opening day. If we don't have her opening day, I would expect we'd have her pretty soon thereafter.
Two more.
Well, I mean, obviously losing Blue is a big loss, but you have a lot of depth in the infield. Have they made it a challenge to kind of think about what a starting lineup might look like, and how has that competition maybe just helped some players like Bella come along as a freshman?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking last night, we have all these returners, yet when you look at our infield, you've got a new face in every position. And I told them day one in August, I want to create versatility. And I'm going to play you all fall in at least 2, if not 3 positions, so that we can move people around and not feel like we're out of sorts or uncomfortable. And I think they've adapted to that really well.
What are your options at that third base position with Zeta if she's not able to go at the start of the season?
Laura Baylor, we've had her over there. She played shortstop for MTSU the last couple of years and did a fantastic job. And she's doing really well. She's one of the best learners I've ever coached. She's going to do tomorrow what we instructed her on today. And I like her. Taylor Panela can go over there. Boo Gibson could go over there if we, played somebody else in the middle. So I think we have plenty of options.